So thank you, Torbjörn, and we even a bit early. That has never happened before, so I wonder how this will go. I don't have any pockets, so I have to hold this one. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Marie Ekström Trägårdh, and I'm running this business as a president since 2011. That's almost 8 years now. I'm going to talk about 3 things today. I'm going to talk about the market and how we can contribute to Sectra's overall goal as an organization. I will talk about customer satisfaction. Torbjörn mentioned that already, but I will talk a bit more about that because that's an extremely important factor for our success. And I will talk about the opportunities we see today and what we're doing at Sectra, and also give you some example from sites outside Sweden. And then finally, a bit about our products and some base information. Some of you know since long time, and you already knew a lot of things, but I will give you some introduction for what we're doing and what our products are doing, and also how we see we will grow our business. So that's the main 3 things I'll talk about today. Today, we are one of the leading vendors in medical imaging and handling patient information. We have 1,800 sites all around the world, which we support with service, upgrades, training, customer meeting, whatever. We are in the segment called Enterprise Image Management. And we focus in on cancer diagnostic, just as Torbjörn said. The customer segment, which is most important for us, and the segment we design our products for, are large production hospitals and growing change. And also hospitals and providers with a high need of communication and sharing of images. But of course, all departments in a hospital or unit which have a need of medical images we work with. And that's what all the enterprise image management is all about, handling medical images. And it's not just storing them and making a diagnosis, it's much more, and I will tell you what. When we started this, it was almost more than 30 years ago, Torbjörn, I think, something like that, yes? And then, you know, you've seen in the movies, they have a film. So they look at the patient's x-rays and look at a film. And that was, of course, time-consuming, and it was hard to get, being in control of all these films at the radiology departments. So then we started with digitalizing the radiology department. That was the first digitalization at the hospital, and that was more than 30 years ago. And Sectra was really early out here. We were among the first vendors who did that. So it started with a single, standalone radiology PACS with our workstations and storage. Everything was at the customer site. We have the storage in the customer facilities, everything was there. Then we have Expand, and from the same platform, from the same unified platform, we have expanded our system. So now we can handle other complex images, such as pathology images, cardiology images, and also breast imaging, where we have a premium solution for mammography screening. I would say we are, if not the best provider of mammography screening systems today, worldwide. So these kind of images, we have grown our first system into all these ologies. And why have we chosen these ologies? Yes, it's because they stand for the main production of images at the hospital today. The radiology department is the main producer of images, but also in breast imaging, pathology, and cardiology, there's a lot of production at the hospital today. And we have concentrated on that, mainly because we have good knowledge and competence and skill in image handling and image analysis. But of course, all other ologies are also in this enterprise platform which we have. Then we have a lot of other vendors also want to archive their images in our system. So for example, if we have Värmland, they have today 20 departments, and all these departments store their images in our platform. All kind of images are stored in our platform. But if we take Stockholm, then we have an VNA, it's a vendor-neutral archive, and we have a platform where different hospitals can have their own PACS, but they store them in our central archive. And that's called a VNA. And we were early out here. Already 2008, we start building these kind of platforms, and today the trend is that most big groups, hospital groups, and growing chains, they have this enterprise imaging platform. What is an enterprise imaging platform then? Well, you have to have high uptime. You have to have a secure system, and that's one of the main reasons why you don't want to have silos and separate systems, because it's expensive for the hospital to have high competence in security, because they need to have high competence in security to protect the platform from intruders, patient integrity, etc., etc. So scalability and also uptimes are very important. In this case, you can see the uptime we have at different hospitals. And I think this is something that is good for our brand and is absolutely necessary for a customer to be able to reach the images all time. And for the patient, you can think of a patient in an emergency department coming in and you can't reach the images. It's so crucial that all images are available all the time. This is, of course, security questions as well. And I really see the synergies today between our Sectra communication department, as Torbjörn mentioned, and us. Earlier, we have been quite separate, but today, the security issues and the security question becomes more and more important. So eventually, I think we really have a benefit of having these competence in-house. And today, we are looked upon as a vendor who has high knowledge in this area. And when we're selling our system, this becomes more and more important. So the benefit, again, to have both competence in-house is extremely important. Also, we see a trend here. Earlier days, as I said, then the customer, they have the storage, they have the archive at the department in their own facilities. That's not the case anymore because it's quite vulnerable to have it in-house. So they move, usually, they have the storage in our system. It could be in our private cloud, or it could be stored in public cloud. And that's the trend. We really see the trend that the customer are moving the stories from their own facilities, either to our private cloud or to a public cloud. And it's also software as a service coming in here. We take care of everything for the customer, the storage, we could take care of the upgrades, everything. Earlier days, we have to go out to the customer and do the upgrade on site. You can imagine that took quite a long time if you have 1,800 customers. Today, we do most things remote, so that saves, of course, time. And when you go to software as a service, it even saves more time, because then you have exactly the same configuration at every site. So this is about our platform. We built it from the start, so it's scalable, and that saves a lot of time. And I think that's a differentiator for us when we're out selling our system, that we could really scale up a customer from going from one radiology standalone PACS and to scale it up to a total enterprise image management system. That saves time for us because we don't need to do a forklift upgrade. We don't need to do a reinstallation. You can just continue, they can just continue from their current system and grow it to an enterprise image management system. You can call it luck that we build it that way, or you can call it, well, that we were clever and smart from the start. I would prefer the last one. So, but it's not only we who are at the hospitals today. The EMRs vendors, they are also extremely important, the medical records. And we have to integrate with all these vendors. It's not only them, there's a lot of systems at the hospitals today. In this case, the EMR could have some images as well, but we are working with a more complex one, as you can see here. This MRR is the pathology images, cardio, whatever it is. But some images are also stored in the EMRs. But we think that the barrier of entry to work with these more complex kind of images are quite high. And there's also the trend saying that you should have the images at one place so they are reachable for wherever the patient are. Have the images in one place and then be reachable for other systems, from other systems. So integration with EMRs and other kind of system at the hospital is crucial. So we work with, of course, with standard interface. There's a lot of standards in this area. But to be able to be a full-blooded enterprise image management vendor, which is extremely important, you have to have the capability to provide the hospital with integration and provide them with all kind of tools to handle the images. This is the trend in healthcare and image handling today. Earlier days, as I said, you can see that radiology IT was main part of the systems, but the trend is that we're going to more and more enterprise image management system. The reason for this is, of course, that the needs increase. You need to communicate much more. You need to have dashboard to understand where you have the bottlenecks at your hospitals. You need to do more analytics, and as also AI and other tools opens up for new possibilities for the hospital to be more effective. And we all know that the burden on healthcare today is tremendous. So they need to have advanced tools. And we have chosen the strategy to be in the enterprise image management system. That means we have chosen the strategy to provide all tools and features they need for image handling. The other strategy is to focus on certain just analyzing or only visualization or whatever. You call it the best of suite, which we have chosen, that we have everything the customer need to have a full-blood enterprise management system, or you could have single system and put them all together. The trend in the market today is that, as you can see, that they're going to have one single source. That means one vendor who delivers everything. That's the trend. Because it's more difficult for the hospital to pick and choose from different vendors and put together the system. Although, even if we have chosen the strategy to be the single source for the hospitals, we can compete in both segments. And several reports have shown that we are quite competitive, or I would say very competitive, in both areas. Both if we go and fight with the other enterprise image management vendors, or if we fight with the competitors in best of breed. And here you can see some statement that we really have been successful in both areas. So this is how we look upon the market today. And I think the choice we did a couple of years back has been shown successful, because that's the choice we did. Going for best of suite is where the trend is going. It also puts a lot of demand on us, because we have to follow. We have to broaden our product portfolio. We have to create new tools for dashboard, new tools for worklist, new tools for analyzing the enterprise departments, all kind of tools concerned with medical images. That was a bit about our products, the strategy we're choosing to have all tools needed for an enterprise image management. And I will go into details and describe some of the products we have so you can see what they're doing. Sharing. Of course, when you grow and when you consolidate, sharing is important. A hospital needs to communicate with a lot of different units. They need to communicate with other hospitals. If you're in Linköping and you need to send the images to Stockholm, you need to be able to do that in a smart way. Earlier days, you send them by taxi, cars, or you have a CD, or you have a USB, or something like that. Today, of course, everything is digital. Patient, they are a group that requires much more today than they did just a few years back. The patient wants access to their own images. They want to be able to take their images and send them to for another hospital for second opinion, even abroad, send them to a specialist in US or whatever, which they know can handle, for example, their cancer diseases or what they have. So this is something that grows. We're building patient portal today. You also need to communicate with a lot of physicians outside the hospitals, general practitioners, physicians, etc. Insurance company want access to your images and other areas as well. Telemedicine partners, the telemedicine companies, they are our customers today, and they could, for example, sharing pathology images who are produced here in Linköping, and they can look upon them in another place, in Australia, whatever, and send the answer and the report back to the main doctor. So this is something that happens today all the time. And the product we use for that is called Sectra Imaging Exchange Portal. It's a cloud-based product, so nothing is stored at the hospital. It's all cloud-based, and we can communicate with all these entities, which is a requirement today. This is just an example from the UK, where we have, I would say, one of the biggest healthcare network in the world. We send through all public healthcare units in UK today. That's almost 460 of them. We send and communicate images, and it's almost 35 million images a week. That's a lot. You can imagine sending these images by car or taxi, whatever. And this goes on, and this has been growing a lot. Another example is the same product which we released a couple of years ago in US. It started to grow there as well. So we expect a lot of this product. That's also, as I said, part of the enterprise imaging management system, and this is needed to be competitive, to have these kind of products. Other product is pathology, and Elin will talk about that later today, and also Anna. We see ourselves as definitely one of the market-leading vendor in pathology today. Together with Linköping here, and some sites we have in Scandinavia, UK, and even in US, I think we are among the first to get into this area. We also seen and looked upon as a thought leader in pathology, and that's really important, because when you're going out with the first kind of products, you want people to listen to you. And if you're first there, as Elin and her colleagues were, writing articles, doing presentations, that's extremely important for our success. Although the market adaptation has been a bit slow, we thought that this would take off just maybe 2 years ago. It haven't yet. Although we have the most sites, we and another company have most installation, but we thought it would go faster. But now we really see it taken off. We have a lot of requests for tenders coming in from Europe mainly, but also customer in US, even though we don't have an FDA there, are ask us for our products. And also, as I said before, when you communicate and get second opinion, that's allowed to do in US, so that's why we can work with it in US as well already. And we are well positioned, so I have good hope in this product. I think it will grow a lot the coming year and coming months. The other product area, which is quite new for us, is cardiology. Cardiology is part of the enterprise image management, and as I said, earlier days there were silos: radiology, pathology, cardiology. But when you are consolidating the hospital's environment, you want to have the product in the same system. You want to have all images in the same system. And there's a lot of old systems out there which is not secure enough and cannot communicate with the rest of the department. We have been in a kind of waiting mode, I will say, because we knew that this area was quite difficult to go into. The current customer for other vendors were not that satisfied, so we hesitated a bit. But now we finally think that we have put together a fine solution where we combined our old systems with some third-party products to be able to provide the basic solution for the customer, and we continue to develop this product as well. So the first installations has got very good response, and also it's, of course, for the patient, it's important to have all images available at the same time. So this product is quite new, but we already see that the customer wants this. It's almost that we have to say, wait a bit, we need to do one at a time, and we really are concerned that the customer is satisfied when we're going out with a new product, because again, our reputation and customer satisfaction is so important for us. And then it comes into class. And Torbjörn talked about class. He told you that we had get best in class for 5 years in a row. Well, that's something we're proud of. And I guess all of you know what class is. It's like getting the Oscar in the movie world as an award. And how come we get that one? Well, I would say the stability and uptime in our system is extremely important, that we have a stable, solid system where they can reach images all the time. Also that we do training in a proper way. And effective integration with other systems, all these plays a part when class is doing the evaluation of and ask the customer what they think about our system and what they think about other systems. This is just a small hint of a new report coming out. It's our VNA solution, which we have in US today. That's the archive, is part of the enterprise image management. And that survey shows that we have a score which is extremely high, 95.9. 100 is the most you can get, and over 80, I would say, is really good. And this is important because all the providers, before they go into procurement, some of them call class, but they definitely look at the scores. And if you are in top of class, then you're okay. If you're not, you will have a problem. You maybe don't need to be the first one as we've been, but you need to be in top of class. Very important for us. And this is just a statement from one of the analysts at class. And as they said here, and Fredrik will talk more about, Fredrik Gustafsson, we are one of the most considered vendors in US, both for VNAs and for PACS today. Also a statement from a customer. To be able to keep this high customer satisfaction, we work intimately with our customers. We do trainings regularly, we have user meetings, we have customer team, we go out and meet with the customer. All those things is necessary to do to keep up with this high customer satisfaction. And also developer, when they're going to develop a new product or they're going to change the product, they need to talk to our customers. We do not invent premium products behind a desk in Linköping. We need to be out at the customer sites. And today, every developer in our organization has to do 3 site visits, otherwise they can't have the yearly salary discussion. So that's a demand for us. And people like to go out. People like to be in interaction with the customer. And I think that's part of our success, that we develop our products together with the customer. Very important. And that leads me to the last phase, and that's about our growth. Our current customer and our customer base is the fundament of our growth. For each new customer you get, you increase the customer base. Earlier days, everyone paid an upfront license fee when they bought our systems. That's not always the case anymore. Sometimes they pay per use, sometimes they pay per exam or per user, but the yearly fee is the same. So for each new customer we get into our customer base, they pay something we call software updates fee. They pay it monthly, and it's usually, between 12 to 20% or something like that. But it means that we can count with this stable income every month from all our customer in a customer base. And that's the fundament for growth. First of all, it's good because we can count on it. We know it's a stable income. We know how much we will get. And what is certain that we will get. So the business model is that we try to have as long-term agreement as possible with the customer. Usually, an agreement is 3 to 5 years, but it can also be 10 years. And then, of course, it's good because then you know for 3 years ahead, it's a steady income for a customer, which you can count on. And as the trend is, it is moving to software as a service and cloud. Then, of course, these upfront payments is less. And this one, the monthly fee gets more and more important. So that's how we make our business, and we are very careful when talking to customer and when they're doing the procurement that we really have this good income, because if we don't have it, you can't have customer satisfaction because we can't provide them with new tools, we can't provide them with training and upgrade and service and support. And the margin is also higher in this area than it is with new sales, because in new sales you have, of course, a lot of deployment costs when install a project. There's risk when installing project. This is more business as usual. You got the money, you know where it comes from, but you have to take care of your customer, otherwise you lose your customer base. So that's why we work a lot with renewals of contracts. We have today a very low churn rate. Our customers are loyal to us. They don't leave us. And it opens up possibility for add-on sales, of course, and also add-on services, new features, whatever. The cost for handling this customer base is the upgrade, is the training, is the customer meeting. So what we can do to optimize this is that to be more efficient in updates. And that's also something we're working with. So that was the business model. In what customer segment do we work then? Well, of course, where we see the main growth is in US. And Fredrik will talk more about that. That's definitely the case. We have possibility now with the brand, the reputation, and the products we have to grow tremendously in US. The reason for it is there, but I don't go into details right now. There's also a lot of other large deals going on in the world. When regions consolidate, not only in Europe, in the US, or in other areas of the world, when they go together and consolidate, they need an enterprise image management system. And there's usually large production hospital who do that. And we have a solution that fits very well for them. So we have a lot of opportunities worldwide as well, which we are looking at. And going into new regions or partners is always on the agenda, of course, to see what's going on. But I think our product and the product portfolio we have are well suited for that kind of growth. Then we have, of course, the business as usual. And in Scandinavia. Scandinavia is our home market. It's still the most important market for us, I would say. And even though you could say, well, you already have all radiology departments in Scandinavia, isn't it sold out? No, definitely not. Because today, when again the customer expand their radiology PACS to be an enterprise management system, we have the possibility to be there. We also have the possibility to sell pathology and cardiology, which most of the hospitals don't have today. Also in Benelux and in UK, where we are market leader, we have the same possibilities in these areas. In Sectra Dash, we call it Sectra Dash, it's Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. Also going well, we're growing in these countries as well. So even if we have a lot of market share in these areas, there's a lot of upsell to do. We also see that the big vendors, the medtech overall vendors, they failed today, some of them. And that makes up the way for us going in. So there's a lot of replacement to do there. The strategy then. What strategy do we have to grow profit? Well, again, increasing amount of customer in service mode, keep our customer. Sales costs are lower on existing customer than on new ones. We introduced something we call golden license model. That's when the customer pay a higher monthly fee, and then they get access to all our products and all our features. They pay a higher fee, but they can get access to it, and we don't have to sell product by product. So that's an easier sell, saving cost, and it's also a more stable income for us. Again, customers are loyal to us. We have to keep that. That's the main part of our strategy. When doing this, we need, of course, to invest, but for each customer we get, we don't have to write a new system. Usually, they can use the same software. Sometimes we need to do some adaptation, but not that often. To digitalize our deployment processes and use digital tools to be able to be more effective when we're doing the service, the training, e-learning models, etc., is something we're looking at. And again, when you grow your customer base, you don't have to grow your organization in the same pace because you have an economy of scale. Of course, a new customer usually gives you more job, but not in the same amount as we get the income. But as we said, we need to be if we're going to be and play in the enterprise image management segment, we need to develop new products. There's a new need coming in. AI, as we mentioned, also more communication tool, as I said, dashboard, peer reviews, whatever. So there's requirements of new products and features if you're going to play in the best of suite segment. When it comes to deployment, support, and sales then, that's the main part of our organization, I would say. Well, we're working with specialist teams. That means that we don't need to have a specialist for each area in each country. We have global groups. Someone is an expert on performance issues, and then you just need to have maybe 3 or 5 of them globally instead of having one in each country. So cooperation, and here comes our culture, plays an important role, that we feel that we are one company and we really help out each other in each country. We're also working with software as a service. That means that the cloud solution, as I said, they get more and more important, and we're building up a cloud organization. It's not payback to that organization yet, but we think that it will come a trend when most of the installations are cloud-based. We're not there yet because the customer hesitate a bit because of security issues, and you don't want to put your data in a public cloud owned by another nation, usually US, but it will come, and we are building an organization who's ready to take on this opportunity. And then, of course, it's easier to take care of a cloud solution because it looks the same in all countries, and you just have to have one organization instead of one in each country. Support, we centralize the support. We have hubs of support in Europe. We have a hub in US. So we do not need to have a full-blood support desk in each country. And of course, again, digitalization to work with chat functionality, and also in the long run, virtual assistant is something that comes. Our sales organization. Well, as I show you, when we sold to the radiology department, then you just need to have, the relationship was the most important thing. Today, we're selling to hospital management organizations. We're talking about with the C-level on the customer sides. And then you need to have another kind of salespeople. They need to have really high skills and competence so they can bring value to the customer. Otherwise, they won't talk to you. So we have, I would say, a challenge to train and educate our salespeople regularly so they can be up to date with what's going on with new techniques, architecture, etc. And they could have fruitful discussion with the C-level management at the hospital sites. To sum up then, what are we doing? Yes, keep existing customer, most important, protect recurring revenue. Optimize for best of suite scenario. We want to provide them with all the tools they need as an enterprise image management vendor. Grow in enterprise imaging segments. That's the target we have. We focus on mid-size and large customer. We follow the broadened segment, and that requires investments in developing new products all the time. Digitalization, use new techniques, tool to be more effective and save cost internally. Go for cloud deliveries as much as we can, because we think that's the way it's going to be in the future, and that's the way it's going to be most effective. Work with global teams, and preferably have your own country operations when working with the customers, because then we can keep our culture, and the culture is a necessity for our success and customer satisfaction. So that was a sum up of what we're doing, what the trends looks like. I think we follow the trends. We are where the growth is, there we are. Our product are there. We need to do some investment, but the position we have today is made for growth.